Hi folks, got my latest project on the go. The problem is when I'm slow manoeuvring and slipping the clutch whilst dragging the rear brake for stability, there's a pulsing. Now I've put my dial gauge onto the rear disc and it seems to be running true. I've made an inquiry of my parts supplier and they tell me it's highly unlikely that this quality Brembo brake disc, or rotor as you Americans call them, will warp. I think, rather strangely, it's got a rust spot, but I'll investigate and show that to you a little bit later on. As you can see, I've already taken a few parts off. The spray guard, the brake pads, the rear wheel, got the brake caliper tied up here, and I've got a little what do we call that, a band cramp on the brake pedal so it can't be accidentally pushed down and push out the pistons, which would turn a simple job into a bloody nightmare. I've got my spare parts down here, my disc, my new pads, and I've bought some new bolts. Now on the subject of bolts, what I've actually done, I've taken one out right. Now I'm just going to set up the tripod in a minute and I'm going to show you just a little bit of preparation I've done to this before I've unscrewed it. Okay folks, this is one of the bolts that holds the disc onto the hub. And what I've done before I took this out, I took this little spike thing here and I gave it a good clean out all into the corners like this, right? And I've even got another one here with a little hook on it and I've hooked out all the dirt, right? And I even, when I put this Torx bit, did I say it was a Torx bit number 40 in here, right? What I actually did was I've got this hide mallet and I gave it a gentle tap so the Torx bit was fully engaged right down to the bottom of the slot. I'll show you in practice in a minute. The whole reason I'm doing that is, as you'll probably know if you fiddle with these sorts of things, this type of socket bit, hex, or this Torx bit doesn't go fully down and you're not absolutely careful about getting it square on in, it can slip, can't it? And if it slips once or twice, it's rounded off, and then you can't get it out. What are you going to do then? You're going to have to tap it with a centre punch or drill it out, right? By doing this, you don't have those problems. Now, I bet there's going to be loads of professional mechanics out there saying, for Christ's sake, stop faffing about and just get on with it. There's no need to do that. And that's probably right. They're more skilled than me. I'm only an amateur and I've got the time to be able to do this, and I won't end up with a stuck bolt. Feel it's fully engaged, and then oh look, it doesn't take much force, but it's come out without any drama, hasn't it? You can hear, can't you, when it's fully engaged. Oh, look at that. Oh, fantastic. I've given the mating surfaces a bit of a clean up, so it's time to put it all back together now. What I'll do is I'll just get the bolts started off. The bolts come pre-loaded with some locking agent, so there's no need to put any what's it called, Loctite on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do them all up hand tight and then just loosen them a fraction. The disc is sort of self-aligning once you've brought them to a... Yeah, that's it. So what my theory is, if you give it a bit of a jiggle, it self-aligns. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. The amateur mechanic. A little knowledge is dangerous. I've never had anything fall apart or cause an accident in the, I don't know, 40 years, no, it must be more than that, 40, yeah, it is 41 years that I've had motor vehicles and fixed them myself. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee, but of course I will remember that I haven't tightened these with the torque wrench yet. Okay folks, I've referred to the trusty Haynes manual under brakes, and I've got the torque values, which are an initial setting of 12 and then 30 Newton meters. So I've adjusted my torque wrench to 12 Newton meters. Oh, now I'm going to need to find a suitable adapter. Ooh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, but you can't actually do these at diagonals because there's 5 of them, but I can sort of spread it about a bit, can't I? So the disc is tightened down with bolts sort of opposing each other. That's done. Right, so I shall change my setting to 30 Newton meters now. Very satisfying. Great stuff. Now that's very important to slacken your torque wrench off after you finish using it, so it's stored without strain on the spring. Right, now I shouldn't need to touch the disc anymore, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a wipe over with my trusty Worth brake and clutch cleaner. Get off any grease that's on there. Oh look, it's got quite a bit on there.
On the second day of the trip, looking at it, but rather increasing high demand, a member of the Spanish team spirited him away for the hors d'oeuvres. There were no more explosive insights at dinner. Everyone seemed preoccupied by the sheep's buffet.
Right. Time for the rear wheel to go back on. I have cleaned this a bit more thoroughly. I'm just giving it a final dust off. Cleaned it a little bit thoroughly already. I'll just give this a bit of a wipe round here. just to make sure there's no grit or anything. It's going to stop it bedding down properly. Right, 60 newtons this is. The torque value for these is 8 newtons. I've gone down to my smaller torque wrench here.
And of course that's because under a personal contract plan, you don't own the car, and the dealer or finance company is banking on selling it if you don't want to take up your option to buy. Thanks to anyone listening to this opening garage instead of motor finance, the Finance and Leasing Association, which regulates finance of this sort. So even down it's a dangerous market.
Great start, I reckon. Apart from putting the panniers back on, that's job done, ain't it?
If you go back 10, 20
Here, look, there is definitely very severe petting here. So that's got to have caused that pulsing effect. I'm going to have to do some research about this to find out why it happened. Laziness on my part, I expect. Not washing the bike when it had a lot of salt on it. Right, this is the plan stand. Just fitted my disc. There it is in all its new glory. New pads as well. So I'm having a combined bit of a test ride here, and I'm wearing my freewheelers garb because I'm going to go and do a bit of fundraising as well with the said organisation. Well, it seems to be riding in a straight line all right. Just applying a little bit of brake pressure there. Seems to be retarding the machine a little. Of course it's going to need to bed in, isn't it? Well, I can report that at the moment the rear brake is working perfectly.